Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The National Trust Executive Director sounding off on ministers admitting that missteps were made in the Oban deal. That story straight ahead.
Consultant physicians respond to the health minister's recent comments about non-performing clinicians.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a top environmental group isn't impressed by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis's admission that his government made more than a few missteps in its handling of the Oban deal. This as the Bahamas National Trust is slamming a town hall meeting scheduled to be held by Oban Energies in East Grand Bahama tonight, telling our news officials should have gone to stakeholders before they signed a controversial heads of agreement. Jared Higgs reports.
It's too little, too late, according to National Trust Executive Director Eric Carey, who says a town meeting to discuss the Oban deal is a belated idea.
Absolutely. I think if you're going to engage, if you want to engage the public, you have to do it effectively before you've agreed something. Otherwise, I'm not sure what could the public say.
The town hall is being held at St. Nicholas Anglican Church in High Rock, Grand Bahama. Carey says not only is that meeting with residents coming after the fact, but it appears to have been planned in haste.
I saw something come across my feed. There's a meeting today in Grand Bahama. I mean, that's less than 24-hour notice for the public to come out, and I'm not sure what the intent is, but I'm not sure it's going to be effective.
Carey, like many of his environmental counterparts, isn't a fan of the Oban deal, which will pave the way for a $5.5 billion oil refinery and storage facility in East Grand Bahama near 3 protected areas. Save the Bay's chairman Joe Darville says he isn't appeased by the Prime Minister's promise to take a closer look at the agreement and that it ought to be sent back to the pits of hell or wherever it came from. Another noted environmentalist, Sam Duncombe, says she doesn't want consultation, she wants Oban thrown out. Asked what he thought of Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis's admission that environmental experts weren't sufficiently consulted, Carey says it doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
When our country is considering any development, that it doesn't take a lot of rocket science to figure out that there is going to be a considerable environmental footprint, whether that's a large hotel, a marina, any industrial facility. So clearly, a refinery, an oil refinery that has a big environmental footprint, it should be very clear to all, including our government, that we should start talking about the environment very early.
Carey says Oban's leadership has reached out to the National Trust for a meeting, but he says that they won't come to the table unless all other environmental groups are invited.
They've asked to meet with us. Oban has asked to meet with the Bahamas National Trust. We've advised their representative that we would propose that they meet with all of the environmental NGOs with longer notice. Give us some information beforehand so that we can come to a meeting prepared. There's no use me going to a meeting for you to just do a PowerPoint presentation. Send us information so that when we come to the meeting, we know what the parameters are that we're discussing.
Oban's chairman, Satpal Dunna, a figure who has come under intense scrutiny since he emerged in the deal, made an unexpected appearance in media coverage out of Grand Bahama. He's expected to take questions at tonight's town hall. This comes as the Nassau Guardian reports that documents show that Dunna and former non-executive chairman Peter Krieger were removed as managers of Oban last week. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, tonight's town hall meeting comes one day after documents revealed that Oban Energies has changed management, with Oban President Satpal Dunna and former non-executive chairman Peter Krieger being removed as managers of Oban last week. According to documents filed in the State Department in Tallahassee, Florida, a new company formed last year is now managing Oban Energies LLC. Oban Energies Management LLC was appointed manager of the company on March 12, 2018 at 12 12:41 p.m. The document is dated March 9, 2018 and signed by Krieger. Oban Energy's Management LLC was created on March 3, 2017. 3 people are listed on the authorized persons for the company: George E. Matleek, a senior partner and principal of Kelso and Company; Donald Berg; and Barry L. Glaser, a real estate agent in Jupiter, Florida. Calls placed to Krieger and Glaser were not returned. The Oban Energy's website, after being scrubbed of all management names last month, does not reflect any change in management nor anyone who is a point of contact for the company. Well, as Baha Mar nears its 5,000 staff complement goal ahead of the opening of Rosewood, president of the mega resort, Graham Davis, says there's still a desperate need for frontline employees. Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
We've always projected to be at 5,000 as our goal with the government. We're getting very close to that right now. We're over the 4,000 mark, and we're getting very close. We're looking for great Bahamians to come and join us.
The Rosewood at Baha Mar will hold a soft opening on May 22nd, just over a year since the mega resort first opened with the Grand Hyatt.
Save the dates are going out, and the progress of our $40 million upgrade to the project since we took it over is right on target. CCA continues to do great work for us in updating the guest rooms, full new furnishing package. We've added an additional pool, additional $6 million restaurant out by that pool. So the progress that we've made is tremendous.
But as the resort gears up for the opening of its more high-end brand, Davis says there are a lot of vacancies to be filled.
We're still looking. I mean, we have a desperate need for more housekeepers. We have a desperate need for culinary and associates to come in, beach and pool attendants. We have just about, I would say, positions in every department. You know, if you have the right attitude, you're positive about your outlook in serving our guests from around the world to come in, and you're proud of what you do each and every day, we'd love for you to be a part of Baha Mar.
Baha Mar's occupancy levels got off to a sluggish start last April. Since then, according to Davis, occupancy has been through the roof, surpassing expectations.
We're exceeding expectations right now. We're ahead of our budgeted plan. The Hyatt is well above their plan at the moment. SLS as well is exceeding their budgeted numbers. So we're very pleased with the progress we've made. Our $25 million advertising campaign is still in full swing. You'll see us advertise throughout the United States and beyond.
The Rosewood will be open to guests in June. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
In other news, the Consultant Physician Staff Association hitting back out at Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who sounded the alarm on non-performing clinicians who only work a handful of hours a week yet take home big salaries. CPSA President Dr. Loxley Monroe called the minister's comments a slap in the face. Jasmine Brown reports.
Those consultants insist they were blindsided by the health minister's comments as they labeled them as superficial.
That was literally a slap in the face for all of us.
While making his contribution to the budget debate last week, Dr. Sands told parliamentarians the time is up for non-performing clinicians in the public health care system. He said not only are they adding to the low morale, they are making $60,000 a year to work less than 5 hours a week. Monroe says that assertion is dead wrong.
That is not the case. That is not the case at all. I would say that you would really have to go and show me somebody who is working less than 5 hours. Because as I said, you may not see that person, but the input of that person is still there. That person is available, okay? And you are available as a consultant. So unless you are going to show me real evidence that persons are not making their input, I would totally disbelieve that.
Though he admits that consultants may not physically be in hospital for the 20 hours required, Monroe says that does not mean they are not doing their job.
The whole idea of 20 hours, yes, that is a standard. However, the standard isn't just about the hours, it is also concerning the contributions. And as I've said just recently, if I'm on my phone giving advice to staff, my junior staff, then my presence, my input is not separated because I may not be here. Why am I setting an Ivy line after 15, 20 years of qualifying myself?
Our news team reached out to the health minister for a response to the association's comments. Sands says he was surprised by what was said, but stands firm about the statements made in the House of Assembly. Meanwhile, as for Sands' claim that morale is low in the public health care sector, Monroe says it is, but not because of any so-called non-performers.
Oh yes, we are fully aware of low morale, but it is not the non-performers that are creating the low morale. It is our broken system and the lack of response from our administrators and policymakers that is the genesis and the generator for that low morale.
The association is also asking the health minister to apologize publicly for his comments. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. We'll have more from the group representing those physicians later on in the newscast. And a trio from Grand Bahama is behind bars tonight after being charged today in the magistrate's court in connection with that $1 million drug bust on Monday. A man and his 2 sons were charged with 1 count each of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply and possession of the proceeds of criminal conduct. 50-year-old Hank Weish in the dark gray sweater, 26-year-old Brandon Weish in the light gray sweater, and 21-year-old Brad Weish in the black sweater were allegedly found in possession of a quantity of dangerous drugs, namely Indian hemp, as well as $1,351,162 of U.S. currency on Monday. The Grand Bahama residents all pleaded not guilty to the charges. Tamar Moss and Ashley Carroll represented the trio. Moss told the court that she was concerned for 50-year-old Weish's health as he suffered from a myriad of illnesses, including diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. She pleaded for the evidence to be provided so that they may apply to the Supreme Court for bail. Magistrate Swain noted the concern and said that there are very qualified doctors to attend to him in prison. Weish then told the court that his feet were presently swelling and his heart condition required medication. The magistrate again noted the concern. They are set to return to court on June 20th. Still to come on our news, the Attorney General defends a government decision to bring illegal migrants before the courts. That and more when our news returns.